Good afternoon to you. My name is Divya Patil. I have been hearing from you since many days, from since college as well, and in my home as well. So it is a really great opportunity for me to introduce you. For everyone, today we have with us Mr. Jayant Kirloskar, who is the founder director of the JK Conrep, Germany. This company promotes specialized electric motors in Germany and various parts of Europe, Middle East, and India. He is also a partner at Market Entry Facilitation Team, which helps Indian companies to set up their businesses in Germany in different ways. Sir is a BTech honors and mechanical engineer from IIT Kharagpur and an alumnus of IMDR and PGDMB of 1979-81 batch. Though coming from an illustrious family, Sir is in many ways a perfect example of self-made personality. Sir started his corporate career in 1975 by joining Kirloskar Brothers Limited, Pune, in sales and marketing in the machines tools division. In 1991, he got an opportunity to go to Germany as Kirloskar representative to promote the products such as pumps, motors, diesel engines in various parts of Germany and Europe. He has set up Kirloskar representative offices. In this journey, he had interacted with European customers, explored cooperation, collaboration, and acquisition possibilities for Kirloskar Group companies. Since 2006, he has become an entrepreneur and a chartered member of the Indus Entrepreneur Global Network of Germany chapter. To be part of your alma mater, and it is a great opportunity for all of us to hear from you. And I'm sure your words of experience and wisdom will be invaluable learnings to all the students here. With these words, may I hand over the session to you, sir, once again.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Divya. Thank you, Shikhaji. Thank you, Shruti Thank you, Mr. Randive. Thank you, Mr. Athavle. And all the students who are present at this time, and also my friends whom I had requested to attend this session. It's a great honor for me to make a talk in front of all of you, and I'm really looking forward to it. You have already introduced me, so I don't want to spend any more time on the introduction. I want to talk about the COVID-19, which is a calamity we are facing, all of us are facing at the moment, and how it is affecting in Germany and what Germans are doing and so on. I am not an expert on COVID-19, I must submit. I have done some research and prepared, put some information and thoughts together, and I want to take this opportunity to share with you. I once again want to thank all of you for your attention. So change is constant. COVID-19 is a very big disruption. All of us know change is constant. That's the big constant in life. We have all the time something or the other changing in our lives, and we go on changing ourselves, and accordingly we go forward. COVID-19 is a big disruption for all of us and for the entire world. It has very badly affected lives because it's life-threatening, livelihood because businesses, companies, and so on are affected very much, and of course it has affected our lifestyle. But having said that, we know as a human race, we are working on vaccine and treatment, and this will certainly end. It may take time, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, we don't know. We will see how things evolve in the coming times. We have to have patience. That's all at the moment. My agenda is basically to mention about the COVID-19. It's nothing new that I'm going to tell you much about the COVID-19 itself, because everybody of us is affected and we know how. I want to talk about 1918 Spanish flu pandemic lessons. It is important because it was a very similar calamity faced by humanity almost 100 years ago. And there are very interesting lessons which have relevance to us today, and that's what I thought I would share with you. And then I want to talk about COVID-19 in Germany and how different aspects of a country, um, like health itself, then business and economics, social, education, and environment. All these different aspects are affected. That is what I'll talk about. I think you will see the numbers, and we will see that Germany has done much better than many other countries in terms of total deaths, though the infections are quite high. I also want to check if there is anything positive in this COVID-19, because we all the time keep talking about negatives, and how, of course, a large aspect is that so many deaths and so many people affected and so many hardships and difficulties people are going through. And at the end, I just want to take a summary to see if there is anything we can take away at the end of this. So it has COVID-19 has changed our lives, and all of us know that. Invisible enemy, the coronavirus. It is difficult to fight an invisible enemy. I think Bill Gates had predicted about 4 or 5 years ago that the next conflict would be a virus, and not probably with um, arsenals and atomic bombs and so on. The other aspect of coronavirus being so difficult, or so difficult to handle, is there is no vaccine and no medication. And in addition, symptoms take 14 days to show up once it has infected us. So that is another aspect which is keeping a lot of people in quarantine, and this 14-day period has come into our lives. It has, of course, given us lockdowns, job losses, layoffs, changed offices to home office, and travel bans, borders closed, etc., etc. Healthcare systems are to some extent are overwhelmed, because this virus and the infection, the consequent disease, demands or affects the oxygen levels in the body of the patient, and ventilators are very much necessary, and intensive cares are demanded, are necessary for handling these patients. And number of intensive care units in terms of the total population differs in different countries, and that has, of course, affected places like Italy, France. Now, of course, the things are changing slowly, but initially they changed. Here is a little bit of statistics, how things look as far as coronavirus is concerned. The world over, we see that USA is topping in terms of countries, with almost 6 million infected and almost 200,000 people dead. Then comes India, and Germany is almost at the 20th place with about 9,336 deaths and so on. I think Germany took certain actions which probably some of the other countries took time to take, and probably that may be reflecting on the statistics that we see. Next, I want to share with you the pandemic lessons. There has been lot written about this. I've taken a few interesting points out of that. What the pandemic, 1919 pandemic 100 years ago, taught us. This pandemic has killed 50 million, over 50 million people all over the world. The outbreak was at the end of World War I. It was called Spanish flu, uh, and this remains still the worst calamities that we have faced in recent times. It was it came in three waves, as they call. It was 1918 spring, 1918 autumn, and then 1919 spring. There were three waves, one after the other. The first lesson is, of course, that it was the biggest calamity of our time. The second lesson is cause of flu was virus, but it was unknown because at that time the microscopes available were not capable of seeing such viruses as we can see today. They just figured out that the flu is getting transferred from person to person through respiratory drops. As virus could not be identified, as the cause was itself was unknown, testing just didn't exist. There was no way to find out what is happening or how it has happened and what corrective measures could be taken at that time. So um, viruses were only discovered in 1930s when we had more powerful microscope. This was deadlier and very much more infectious, and the symptoms showed much faster. It attacked surprisingly the younger population at that time than what we see today. Today, the older population seems to be more at risk compared to the younger population. Uh, that time, there was no vaccine as well as no treatment because the virus itself was not known, so there was no vaccine, and of course there was no treatment also. And I think they were wondering that the healthcare system itself will crack in the face of so many people falling sick. Lesson four is social distancing, which they thought was only most effective response at that time, and it's also today. They had to keep people from away from each other. Contact has to be minimized. They called it crowding control then, but it worked as it works even today. Names matter. The lesson five is because that time, surprisingly, there were three or four countries at war, the First World War, in Europe. Germany, France, and US were the main countries. In fact, Spain, I believe, was neutral at that time. So the Germany, France, and US had censorship on the news being given out, and nobody wanted to talk about the virus and the disease that was spreading. They avoided that. So Spanish people came forward and broke the news, and that's why it got connected to Spain. But unfortunately, sometimes when it is connected to a country, you think it's out there. We are here, safe here, and so on. So some actions were taken rather late, some actions were delayed, and so on during 1918 in the US, and something like 500, 600,000 people in the US died. Total, of course, is over 50 million worldwide. Uh, then the lesson six is inoculation works. Today also we are seeing people who have recovered from these infections. They are trying to use the antibodies and the convalescent plasma from their bodies and trying to experiment and see if that can work as a preventive for the possible infection to avoid. And lastly, of course, this can end and this will end because social distancing, collaborative work on vaccine, and as the herd immunity itself rises all along, it will change, and this will come to an end. There's always a dilemma between a biological entity like the infections are coming and the infections are spreading, the virus is attacking people, and on the other hand, there are socio-economic realities. What will happen to the business? But what happens is the biological situation is outside the control, and socio-economic behavior is changeable. So um, social distancing and consequently stoppage or close down or lockdowns is something which is always in place. Survival first. If you survive, then we can always go back to the business and see what can be done and how it can be changed and improved and brought back to normalcy. Social distancing one has to act early, act fast. As you see it coming, or as you see it is already happening all over the place, if we don't take action, we think it is somewhere there and we take our time, then it is to our disadvantage. So act fast, and then we have to be together in this. We have to do it together so that we can counter the attack of COVID and any such pandemic. At this time, medical authorities, scientific data, and trusting the government is very important. Uh, Today we have social media, and social media can spread right information and wrong information equally fast. So one has to be very careful in today's world, in today's situation, and control spread of such information so that uh, we are not creating any difficulties and add to the situation. Now I come to Germany now, and we have to talk about the healthcare systems. Germany, basically, I must say, they saw it coming. I think the pandemic was announced towards end of December or Jan, um, beginning of Jan this year, end of December last year, and they saw it coming. Especially, I think first case probably was came up in Italy sometime in the middle of Feb or something like that, January or February. So they saw it coming and they decided to prepare themselves. What did they do? In the hospitals, nursing homes, and clinics, normally uh, the individual institutes organize the PPE provisions themselves, masks, disinfectants, gloves, and other protective material. They found that towards end of end of January, that there were shortages, and the central government took the initiative, collaborated with big companies like Lufthansa, BASF, Bayer, Volkswagen, etc., in arranging products from China. This was very closely monitored. Quality control agencies were put in place, and adequate quantities stocked by end of February, and they continue to maintain that on a regular basis. This was very vital because in our fight with such a pandemic, the contribution of the doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals is tremendous. It's tremendous. We can only compliment them in as many words as possible. So that was the first thing which was put in place. The second thing was the Germany um, has a robust public health system, in the sense uh, what we need to fight COVID-19 is intensive care units having ventilators which can provide oxygen, which is the shortfall in infected person. In Germany, there are 34 per 100,000 population. Now they have now changed it and increased it to from 28,000 to 40,000 all over Germany. So they created adequate places, and in addition to that, they had also created a so-called hospital near Hanover with several beds, which they didn't need to use. But in difficult times, at the peak times during May, March, April, uh, they also took some patients from France and Italy, and that was quite helpful for the other countries also. Testing is very important part of fighting COVID-19 virus. Uh, the Germans had already invented the first testing formula in middle of January, and then it was they distributed the diagnostics kits all over Germany through different labs, and adequate were kept. This is one of the main reasons why how they um, controlled the number of deaths. More number of diagnosis and testing was done, and particularly if people were found with low or no symptoms, then such people were attended immediately, and they were given proper treatment. So they didn't wait until the infection was severe or showed up, and it had more it needed more intensive care and so on. The other aspect is better tracking of the contacts, and that is something which is in place in Germany. Even today, we see when we visit restaurants and hotels and other public places, and there we have to fill in certain information and leave it back, so that we were there, we sat on such certain place, and we had something, and if something is some infection is found, then that can be traced back, and then if needed, that can be treated, that can be quarantined, those people can be uh, put aside or asked to be in quarantine, etc., etc. Regarding vaccine and treatment, there's a research going on in Germany in two places. One of them is Mainz and in Tübingen, and the Pfizer, in Pfizer, they have already started clinical tests. Like similar to India, I think India also we have started um, the clinical tests. So with collaborative effort going on in different places, the hope is good that we will find vaccine soon, and yeah, things will be much better. Another important thing about Germany is that every person in Germany is insured. He has to have a health insurance, and whether it is testing or treatment, he would be taken care of. There is no person just left like that. So, testing and tracking strategy in place, as I mentioned to you earlier. I think what Germany did right is again they anticipated, they prepared themselves in advance, took early actions, like for example preparing with PPE in different hospitals and nursing homes, and then I believe there were also better controls. In general, Germans are more disciplined, 95%, what one can say, law-abiding people and solidarity. So these all these things put together have helped in containing the spread of the disease in a great way. Great contribution, of course, by healthcare professionals, as everywhere, also in Germany, and we can only compliment them. Schengen borders were closed at the peak times, uh, naturally as an important aspect, because some of the countries, neighboring countries, had much more, many more infections at that time. So it was an important step to take. But at the moment, again, these borders have been opened. But if anybody wishes to travel outside of the European Union, then one has to take care. One has to take a war. They are warned, and then different countries are labeled with um, different risk possibilities. Now we come to the business and economy side of COVID-19 and how it has to. We all know everywhere the large corporations, SMEs, own account holders, micro businesses, freelancers, everybody's affected. Loss of jobs, layoffs, short working hours, shortage, crunch of liquidity, shortage of working capital, and all these typical problems are there being faced by various companies, large or small. And to counter that, and in this, to help all the overall the economy to stabilize, because uh, we have to kind of override this situation maybe for next 6 months until end of year, before things will be clearer and easier. So German government put a package in place, and has made every effort to reach every kind of business and see how it can be stabilized. Also, there is support from the European Union. There's a COVID bridging assistance to SMEs. Now, the SME the middle size companies are generally up to 250 employees and 50 million euros turnover. That is kind of a limit of the middle size companies. So these are the companies which can be helped with a quick bridging assistance that will make them overcome the immediate needs of funds in shortages of working capital and so on. And the amount which can be given is about 150,000 euros maximum. Naturally, you have to be hit by, or the consequence why you are in difficulty should be because of COVID and not because of other reasons. Your turnover compared to last year should be about 60% down with 2019 figures. Then there are loans offered by KfW Bank, which is a bank for reconstruction, and this gives supports the loans up to 100 million, giving 90% guarantees. This is for SMEs as well as big corporations. Then there are also uh, quick loans available from the KfW, and that is maximum is about 800,000 euros for the large corporations, up to about 500,000 euros for the middle size companies. Then, in addition, Federal Economic Stabilization Fund has been put in place, federal guarantees and recapitalization, which is basically to make strengthen the capital base as well as the liquidity shortages of. This is mainly meant for bigger companies. That means companies having turnover over 50 million euros. And this is there are different instruments in all these financial help. There are different instruments, then there are different documents and other things to be provided, etc., etc. Those details can be, of course, available. Then, in addition to that, tax relief has been given. VAT has been reduced from 19% to 16%, which will, of course, help also all the buyers, consumers to some extent. And the companies also have to shell out that much money to give them. And then tax payments are deferred. Then advance payment of tax is deferred. I think even the tax return filing dates, also if you have losses in this year, how they will be carried forward and things like that are also there. And these kind of not incentives, tax subsidies or tax reliefs have been granted. Germany, we have a very special allowance called as short-time work allowance, called as Kurzarbeitergeld, which is very unique in Germany. There were companies who came forward and had exchange with their workers and employees to check that because of the present situation, because of the reduction in orders, because of the loss of business, we have to reduce the wages, the wage bill, and so on. And we may have to remove certain people. And they chose to have instead that we will have lesser hours per person, and we will continue that everybody has a job, which is a unique thing which they have done in Germany. The reduction of working hours is in some cases even less than 50%, and proportionately the company is obliged to pay their employees as salaries. Now, what the government has done is the loss of the net income of the employee because of less number of hours being worked. The difference is being compensated by the government through the special agencies, and this compensation is from 60 to 80%. It goes on changing from time to time. Also, the employer contributions of the social securities that that the employer has to make for each and every employee has been taken over by by the government. This support is expected to continue for 21 months. So this is a very important big relief to save jobs. Otherwise, there would have been many more jobs lost in the process. Export credit guarantees by federal government have been given. This is again financial support to see that they can continue with these projects, and there's no difficulty in executing all these projects. Cost of living aid for small scale entrepreneurs and so-called own account workers. It is with the objective that they do not simply lose their savings in the process. If their savings are just gone away because of the cash crunch and working capital shortages, etc., etc. Naturally, in the new scenario, home office is become a thing of the day. Lot of the German government is officially helping or officially telling companies that uh, wherever possible, if home office is workable, they must examine and see that home office is allowed. And office sharing also is being encouraged. So now, modernization got speeded up by COVID-19. As everywhere, some of the companies are always more conservative, reluctant to go with the new technologies that are developing around. So digitalization, then artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, 5G, etc., are now moving in a very, very big way. Companies which fail to do adapt themselves are facing difficulties, and some of them may just disappear. But these are the things. Government is promoting digitalization, artificial intelligence, uh, Internet of Things, 5G in a very big way, and companies which take up these, or there are projects, and there are projects where they can build these new techniques in. There are supporting funds available, which can help the company change from what they are today to a new high technology in the system. Online shopping, as we all know, has increased in a multiple ways. We see that even the online companies are today delivering groceries, or even there are grocery companies uh, especially doing online services and delivering grocery to people at home. Number of people in entering shops is limited because of social distancing. Until we have a concrete solution to fight COVID, social distancing will remain. We will have to wear masks and all these hygiene etiquettes will have to be followed, etc. Buying patterns also are changing. Webinars, video calls, Zoom meetings have become things of the day. I think I must have myself seen several webinars and attended several Zoom meetings and um, Team meetings and Skype calls and whatever. It's not that it was not available before, but I think COVID-19 has given us those things today, and we're slowly becoming at home with all these things. Education had changed, like in India, everywhere the education has slowly gone um, from the normal classroom to online. That happened quickly. Schools were closed, colleges were closed, of course. There's some schools now reopened after the summer break in Germany, but of course we will have to see if there are any infections found in the schools after taking whatever social distancing and hygiene etiquettes and other things followed. There is a second wave, then probably the opening of schools will be re-examined or rethought about this. A lot of Indian PG students I was told that there were some, I believe, 7,000, 8,000 Indian students all over Germany doing postgraduate um, sessions, and they have all gone back and they're now studying from online from India. Slowly, of course, lifestyle had changed. Our lifestyles have got affected. We can't simply do meetings and picnics and other things or parties the way we used to do before. Theatre, cinemas, sports, especially professional football is a major thing in Germany. So the Bundesliga, probably some of you know the name. Everything is affected. Events are affected. In fact, we had a gathering planned this year of it was of Marathi people from all over Europe, which had to be cancelled because more than so many people cannot be gathered, and so on and so forth. No parties, no picnics. After 4 months now, two families are allowed to meet. And this, of course, has to be done cautiously, and naturally you are expected if somebody else is coming to your place, a visitor is coming to your place, then we have to take the necessary care and see that you don't create difficulties or infections or do contribute to spreading. Borders, of course, have been now opened and we can move around within Schengen again. Of course, with all those necessary care taken. Environment, um, I had I had some people telling me on WhatsApp that people in Punjab now can see. Okay, yeah. People in Punjab can see Himalayan peaks in early mornings and so on. So the environment has been tremendously benefited. At least we see what we have done to the environment. Probably all of us will become aware, and probably we can do our part uh, in contributing how the environment can remain better or have better, go to olden times and whatever. It's not an easy question and easy solution to give, but we have to work on that. Reduce traffic of planes, trains, ships, cars, and so many other things. Cleaner atmosphere, traffic jams. You find it's very nice to when you are driving on a motorway in Germany or anywhere else for that matter, and you move along very smoothly all over the place, go to your destination, reach in time, and so on, which is very nice feeling. So productive time also is saved in the process. Now we come to the positive side of COVID. These I think so far I have tried to cover the things, cover the aspects of how Germany has faced the COVID and how things, how different things are affected or in place. This is just positive side. I mean, you may wonder, does COVID-19 has a positive side at all? But that yes, it does have, I think, and that's what I'm going to have a quick. One thing we have seen is world has become closer. Though when we meet each other, we have to be at 1.5 meters or 2 meters away. But right now, this itself, we can see that you are seeing me, and I'm interacting with you. You're sitting somewhere in India, in your homes or in different places, and we are exchanging. This this could have been possible earlier also, but we probably didn't use this aspect. But now this we are using, and this is a new way of maybe this is a very new way of dealing with this aspect, and we could have more of this. And as the technology helps us, the internet speeds and internet in general helps us. This is all possible. So this is one very positive thing. This is not necessarily only for business. This can also be personal, and this can also be, for example, educational, like we're doing right now. I'm able to speak to all of you here. Here is a picture of one of our. I'm a member of the organization, the TIE Network here in Germany, and we had my partner has initiated chapter exchange meetings, and this is a picture of one of the chapter exchanges that we had with Thai Nagpur. And you can see how many people are sitting there and how we are interacting with each other and sharing this. So this is one very big gain, I would say, from COVID-19. Very big gain. I mean, we had all these instruments, or we all had these technologies, and we probably didn't make use of that in that time. Another thing is it was like, you know, we were all of us were driving on the fast lane on the motorway, and suddenly there was a roadblock, and we were paused, and it has suddenly given us time. Time is the most scarce resource for all of us, and everybody used to say that no. If I ask somebody something, he would say no, but I don't have time now. I will have to wait until this or until that has completed or until that has happened, and so on and so forth. But today, suddenly, COVID-19 has given us time. And I think it is our chance to take this opportunity to think and reflect. And that is when we have to again evaluate. Because somewhere along the line, we start forgetting the difference between what is essential and what is desired and what are our wants and needs. We sometimes we tend to forget, and that's, I think, we have a chance to re-look at these things, re-evaluate, and then move forward. And yeah, normally one says that what is the most important things for all of us in our lives? They are health, relationships, and finances. These are the three most important things for anybody and everybody. We have our relationships, and we have to now have a chance to look at them again, see how we can improve something, how we can do better. Are they in place? For example, health. Uh, are we doing all right? Am I fit enough? I have enough energies, and so on and so forth. And finances, because these are the three things which affect our lives very much all the time. They say in general that one should have 6 months income as an emergency fund. Now this can vary for different places and different, but that's just a thumb rule. So we have to evaluate ourselves. Are we ready? For example, in this period of time, suddenly if there is no income at all for 6 months, and for businesses it can really it can hit very badly. So these are the things we have to now reevaluate and see how in the longer perspective what we need to do. And another thing is upskilling. Upskilling is we are getting more time, so maybe we can read more books, we can attend more courses, we can take to another learning another language, we can take another course, whatever. There can be so many things, and add value to ourselves. Because only by adding value we can become more valuable to the marketplace. So that's another aspect we have a chance to do too. So that's I think these are 2 3 things which are the positive sides of um, COVID-19. I just want to summarize now the lessons. Lessons are useful if used, that we all of us know. There's a famous quote by Confucius that knowledge is having it to apply it. So even, unless you apply it, the knowledge is just information, and yeah, it's just there. That's all. Um, for a pandemic like today and like it was in 1918 or 1990, social distancing is still the most effective solution. We have to control the contact. We have to be away from each other, and control the spread of the disease. Acting early, acting fast, and with solidarity. This is, I think, not just for the pandemic, but in general, this is what we need in our personal lives too. collaborative work for solutions. Yes, for the vaccines and the treatment, I think people will work together. We find solutions and go forward. We have time, so we need to think and reflect on what we are doing. And of course, this will end. As they say, we shall overcome. We will succeed. We will find solutions. We will find vaccine. We will find treatment. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. We have to be patient for some time. We have to go through some hardships, probably in coming days and coming months for some time. But we will find solutions and we will overcome and we will, of course, be successful. And yeah, probably if we again meet in 5 years' time, then we will have a chance to look at these things and how it went and what is it we talked about and what is it that we learned from this, etc., etc. Thank you very much to all of you for your attention. I want to take this opportunity to thank some of my friends who have given me very valuable inputs when I was preparing this presentation and talk for you. Mr. James Bryant, Mr. David Gower, Dr. Daniel Herman, and my wife, Mrs. Manjiri Kirloskar. Special thanks to all these. They have given me valuable inputs, and what you heard is with their help and some of their contribution. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you again for IMDR, Mrs. Shikhaji, Shrutiji, Mr. Randive, Mr. Athavle, and all the students who have taken time out to listen to me. I hope you found it interesting and there are some points to take away. Thank you. I am
Sir,
done.
yeah,
Thank
sir.
you.
Now, can we take few questions?
Yes,
Yeah.
I will try my best to answer.
Yeah. Is there any question from participant side? Yes, please. Yes, sir. Abhijit
No,
Shivnani.
I'll just stop sharing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
How do I do that?
You have to click the same arrow, sir. It will stop sharing.
Is it now stopped?
Yes, yes, sir. It
Okay.
stopped. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good
I am
afternoon.
Dr. Abhijit Shone from IMDR. I am a faculty in operations.
Okay.
So, I am not going to ask anything related to COVID, but I would like to ask a question related to education.
Okay.
So, you studied in a premium institute like IIT,
Yes.
and you are there in Germany. So
Yes.
what is the difference in technical education between India and Germany? Because and one more point, the trigger I would like to give, is it sub, is it specialization education, specialized education right from the 10 plus 2 onward, or after 10th standard, or like us we have generic education? Like?
Oh, that's a bit difficult question for me. Uh, I have really not studied here, so don't know. But yes, Germany, we don't have 10 plus 2, we have 10 plus 3. Uh, the Germany, it's 10 plus 3, and after that, today I think you start with bachelor. We used to have earlier diploma engineering or diploma courses which were 4 or 5 years long uh, in the universities mainly. And today, of course, it is changing to bachelor's, which is similar to ours. That's what I know. I don't know. Maybe I can request David to give a better answer. He has studied here and he's living in Germany. He knows better than me about the German education system. David, maybe you can share your thoughts on that. Can you hear David? Okay. No, Mr. Sorry, I don't know if I have.
Yes.
Sorry. Hello.
Okay, sir. No problem. Okay, no
No,
problem.
no, I suggest what you do is if you can send me your question on email, I will try to gather more information and give you a more appropriate answer. Is that okay with you?
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Thank you.
Questions. That will be done, sir. No issues.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
What else?
fine, sir.
Just
Is there any
ma'am,
more
one
questions?
question is there from Shamika.
One question is from student, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Shamika.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm Shamika. Yes.
Yes.
Sir, I wanted to
Hello.
ask that what are the job opportunities in Germany post the COVID scenario?
Oh, job opportunities in general at the moment are a bit down, I must say. As everywhere, the jobs are down at the moment. And in fact, there are people being reduced in some cases. They're trying to see if the people already who already had jobs, how they can be retained and continued. That's the main thing. But there could be some fields like IT and some other fields where there may be a possibility. It is said that the three sectors are likely to boom because of COVID or at the COVID times. One is, of course, the healthcare, the pharmaceutical companies, because they have to work on these new vaccines and treatments and so on and so forth. The other is, of course, the information technology as digitalization, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, all these are being pushed in every business, in every company, and it is taking place. That is one area where there could be a lot of opportunities, I think, probably post-COVID or even during these times. And the third is, of course, agriculture, because you need food and you need the agricultural output all the time. So these three, was said to be these three sectors will be in demand very much. So that was what we expected.
Thank you, sir.
Answered your question?
Uh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Ranjit sir, would you like to say something? Randive sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, sir. I have a slightly different. Just like India, Germany also has a multi-party and I think Christian Democrats and Social ones, and there are some other parties. So during this COVID period, what was the approach and attitude of opposition parties towards the measures taken by the Green Party? Were they supportive? Were they opposing? Was it justified if they were opposing? How would you put it?
I would say that in the initial stages, you see, Germany also has a system similar to ours. That means you have central government and you have state governments running individual states. So I think in the initial stages, I'm not an authority and I'm not a strong, how should I say, student of the German politics, but I can say that in the initial stages when COVID hit us in February, March, I think the states and the center showed a common consensus and worked towards controlling. And that's how the lockdown and the controls, even though in every population you will have people who don't like these things, who may have things against. They will say no, but I don't care. I don't mind if I'm infected and things like that. They can say anything. So But now, after the summer break, slowly things are opening, and I believe sometimes they tend to say that uh, some states are going in their own way, and so on and so forth. So we have to see how things evolve. But in general, I would say the solidarity was there, because
Okay.
this is a massive
Okay.
massive disease to be confronted with. So unless everybody is together, it is difficult. Otherwise, we will
Okay.
have more casualties. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah.
If there is no questions, then can we conclude the session?
Thank all my friends. I can see two of them here at the moment. And yeah, thank you for being with me, and thank you for listening to me. So I wish you all a nice day, and maybe we get a chance to meet in person soon.
Yes. So, before formal vote of thanks, I would like to say thanks to you, sir. So, with this, we have come to an end of the session. Uh,
Okay.
That will be
Thank
great.
you, sir, for your time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experiences with our participants. Thanks for sharing extensive insights on impact of COVID on Germany and how the country has taken adequate steps to support and revive business and overall economy. Thank you so very much for sharing so precisely how step by step Germany is unlocking the economy. We truly appreciate the positive side of pandemic shown by you. So that is something really appreciable. So you have taught us how to see the positive side of everything. So this is really appreciable, sir. So the session was truly insightful and very well designed, sir. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to each of you who have participated in this today's enriching session. Your unwavering attention and participation has made this event a success. Thank you so very much, all the participants. Thank you so very much, guests. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your participation. I'm sure that cooperation with most of you will continue in this near future. Now, our special thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Sir, Mr. Mahesh Athavale. Thank you so much, Sir, for gracing the event with your presence. We are fortunate enough to be backed by our DS Society for such progressive efforts. Thank you so very much, Sir, for your motivation and constant support. You are a guiding star for us. So, under your leadership, I hope we will take India to the new heights. Thank you, Sir. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you, Director Ma'am, for inspiring us to organize such wonderful events. Thanks a lot. So now with this, I would like to invite Aarti for a formal vote of thanks. Please, Aarti.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my immense pleasure to present vote of thanks. I am Aarti, and on behalf of Deccan Education Society, IMDR, would like to thank you, sir, for giving us time and enlightening us on impact of COVID-19 on Germany's economy. So your session was very insightful as we move towards embracing this new normal. We got a perspective about the 1919 pandemic. We learned that quality control, adequate healthcare facility, contact tracing, and discipline helped largely to limit COVID-19 cases in Germany. We also understood digitalization, modernization, of artificial intelligence have gained importance. Prompt action and trusting the government in the era of social media is the need of the hour. Surely this will help and guide us in our future endeavors. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank our director, faculty, non-teaching staff for continuously encouraging and supporting us for such corporate connect. I thank the entire student organizing team, technical support, and last but not the least, I thank all the guests and my fellow students without whom the session wouldn't have been successful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirloskar
Thank you.
sir.
That's the idea.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much.